city. DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast. Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it. Yeah. Who with me? Let's get it. Yeah. No with me. Yeah. I'm from the city. DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast. Dre and Willsy is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's get it, baby.
He the one.
With me. So the breeze, baby. Let's get it.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. Welcome back to the 1130 podcast. What's good, everybody? Doing out there on this Wednesday. Appreciate you guys joining me back here for another episode of the 1130 podcast. You dig, man? I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited to join me for the podcast, man. For real. Good morning to everybody who's listening to me on EB Radio this morning. Yes, appreciate you guys joining me back here on this Wednesday. And thank you for those who are watching on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, if you're new to the 1130 podcast, make sure you head over to YouTube and subscribe to the 1130 podcast YouTube channel. Like it, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff. And don't forget, you guys, to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I said, it's Wednesday, so I'm back at it with the podcast, man. I got a cool guest lined up. I said it last week at the end of the show, you guys. Yes, Tania, you guys. She's the host of the Notorious Momz, the podcast, you guys. She's right here each and every Wednesday, you guys, at 7 p.m. here on EB Radio, you guys. Yes, for everybody watching on YouTube, you better have download the EB Radio app already, for real, because we're going to have some problems. But, man, we're going to start it off cool. You guys. Like I said, here, my guest, you guys, Tania, she's the host of the Notorious Momz podcast. She's from New York. She's going to be joining me here in just a bit, you guys. If you guys want to keep up with the show, don't forget to follow EB Radio on Instagram, you guys, at EB Radio _. We ain't going to waste no time, you guys. We're going to get into the show with my lovely guest, you guys, the host of Notorious Momz, the podcast, you guys. Tania, how's it going?
Hey, how are you? Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the 1130 podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I am doing wonderful. The day is going blessed. It's pretty cloudy outside, so we was talking a little bit before how the hurricane was coming up on the East Coast, so it's bringing a whole lot of raindrops, right now. But right now, I'm here. I'm doing wonderful. I'm here with you. But how's your day going?
It's going good. Just the same old, just hanging in, just trying to keep busy. Can't really do much when it's all cloudy and nasty outside. So just trying to keep busy at home. A mother's job is never done. When you have kids at home, it's always something to do. So you can never be bored. I'm never bored. I always have something to do.
Okay, that's cool. Because lately, since I've been podcasting, I stay pretty busy now. So because before
definitely.
Before this, I was like, man, I gotta get into something. I always spoke about, trying to find myself and getting into something. And this is, something I really love and enjoying. So like I said, it's Wednesday. We're here on the podcast. Tania, for my listeners and viewers who are not familiar with you, can you tell them something about you?
So I started this podcast during, COVID had just started, and my daughter was a few months old, and I was home. We were home on lockdown, and I'm working. I still work my 9 to 5, but I'm just like there has to be something else. And I've always like entertaining. I'm also a singer. Definitely nobody knows who I am, but I sing. That's my thing. I love to sing, and I love to entertain, and I love to tell jokes, and I love talking to people. So my husband and I, we kind of sat down and we were like, all right, well, what can we do? The podcast thing was like really jumping, and I decided to just, start my own podcast. We just went with it. We figured out what we're going to do. We had a plan, and, we executed it.
Okay, that's what's up. You say you love to entertain. Did you always like to do that, throughout your life?
Always. I love to sing. I love to dance. I love to be the life of the party. I love to interact with different people and get to know different people. I feel like I'm kind of personable. Some may not think so, but I do. That's just like my thing.
Okay, cool. You say you like to sing. You ain't tried out for, America's Got Talent or anything like that?
Actually, a couple of years ago, that you say that, I did audition for The Voice. Okay. It was like years and years ago. They were at the Jacob Javits Center. They were doing interviews. They were doing like auditions, and I went. I shot my shot. They didn't pick me, but but it was fun. The experience was amazing. I got to, got to know a few people while I was online for like 5 hours. So just overall for the experience, even though they didn't pick me, it was dope. It was a really dope experience.
Okay, that's dope. That's real dope. Do you still sing?
I try to, yes. My husband is an audio engineer, so we try to like get ourselves together, but it's hard to do because like writing and recording, people think that when you have a song or you write a song, you just go into the studio and you record. It's really not that simple. Recording, I give it to all these recording artists and music artists because it's a really difficult thing. You kind of have it or you don't. All these rappers and singers, when you go in, you can have a beautiful singing voice, but it's a certain niche that you have to have when you're recording in a recording studio.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to go into that. A whole lot. I did
Definitely.
I dipped and dabbed in music, in my younger age. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I really do. But if you want to keep doing it, pursuing music, keep doing it. Don't ever give up.
I feel like I'm too old for that.
See, look, I know, but that's the thing, though. I think that's the thing. When we get up there and we get up, a certain age, we be like, well, you know what? I think I'm too old for that. Nah, like follow what you good at. You tried it before, it may come back to you. So just never know. Just don't give up on yourself, though. You mentioned you like to meet new people. I do here on the podcast, chatting with different people all over the world each and every week. You're from New York, right?
Yes, I'm Brooklyn born and raised.
Okay. How is it there?
Well, I'm no longer there, but I used to live in East New York. I was, like I said, I was born and raised there. It's a little different now. I have to say that with all this gentrification of the different neighborhoods, it's not how it used to be when I used to live there years ago. The neighborhood is definitely changing. It's evolving. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah. But when I grew up there, when you grow up in certain neighborhoods, the neighborhood wasn't always great. But it was my hood. So I knew it. I was comfortable there. And, it worked for me at the time. But then when you start getting older and you start looking around, it's like, maybe this is just not the best place to be.
Yeah. Yeah, every place got its little bad spots and bad neighborhoods and stuff like
definitely.
That. New York is definitely on my bucket list to travel to. I really would like to travel to.
Where are you located?
DC, from Washington. DC.
Oh, DC.
Yeah, born and raised. They got its place here, but it changed a whole lot on certain places. Like downtown and stuff like that. It's just they trying to move all the black people out. So yeah. That's exactly what they're doing. It's just like every other place, though. Every other place. You mentioned, meeting new people. Like I was just saying, meeting new people is wonderful. I appreciate the shout out on your IG live. That was dope. I appreciate it so much.
Of course.
Yeah, I always try to, give back, to local podcasters or just, podcasters who's coming up in the podcast world. I've been doing this for about going on 2 years in December. So it's wonderful to, connect with people. And I love to have people on my show, whether, they having a book or a podcast or whatever, just to come on and, to talk about it and stuff like that. So like I said, I once again, I appreciate it. You said you started podcasting around the pandemic. How did you manage, being a mom and working and, trying to podcast?
So it was, my job had closed down for like a month. After the whole pandemic, and then we were home for a little while after that. It wasn't super difficult because I have a really great family support. So it was just like everybody pitched in and everybody did a little bit of everything. So like I have an amazing family support. I have an amazing friend support. My friends are really supportive of everything that I do. So it really wasn't that hard. It was just kind of getting everything together and like putting all my ducks in a row, prioritizing my time, figuring out what I was going to do. I think the hardest thing about podcasting for me was figuring out what I wanted to talk about or how I was going to keep my audience engaged, because I think that's really important. That was difficult at first. I started off like talking to myself in the mic because I had the setup and I'm like, all right, I'm just talking to myself, but it's really not engaging. Sometimes you need that of the person that you're speaking with to kind of like keep the conversation going. Because how long can you talk to yourself? And sometimes people don't want to listen.
I know. So I know about that because that's how I started off talking to myself and just
right.
Like, a lot of people was like, man, yo, man, I'm trying to be a guest. I'm trying to be a guest on the joint, man. And I'm like, sure, okay, cool. But I didn't have nothing, set up nothing to this Zoom, like or whatever. Like, so I was just doing it from my phone. So of course, like I don't know how long I would have lasted doing what I was did, just talking to myself each and every week. I'm pretty sure it would have got stale and boring. So I was just like, yo, man, I need that computer so I can start having guests because like I'm trying to turn it up though. Because for real, what was like, some other challenges, when you started podcasting? When you got into
so I still am facing a lot of challenges. I'm trying to figure out because all the guests that I have on my show, they're actually my close friends because I have a studio set up at home. I turned one of my bedrooms into my studio. So my friends come over and we record in person. So I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of like get guests that I can get on the phone and try to have the audio sound good. My YouTube channel is still really in its infancy. Like I just have a couple of videos because I'm still also trying to work that out. And when you're doing things on your own, it's a little hard. It's a little challenging because you have to do more research. It takes more time. But it's a learning process. And I appreciate that because, when you're doing things on your own, you kind of like learn the ropes.
Yeah, you do. You do. So how did your podcast? So have you seen any improvement as far as, like having a co-host on your podcast? Because I do it majority of the time by myself. I don't really have no one to kind of like, my fiance don't want to do it. She's so nervous. She don't want to be on camera. She like, man, I got to do my makeup every other week. Like, this is too much. So it's like, how's the difference, you seen the difference from your podcast, from having guests and just, talking about yourself. Obviously, it's different, but, what's the big difference?
So I feel like the engagement is much better. Like from when I started, I only had like a few episodes, but I always started off with a guest. In the beginning stages, I never put anything out, just me by myself, because I just felt like people wouldn't be like, with it. So I noticed like with different guests, I get different feedback, different topics. So I like that, but I also try to keep everything a little like interesting. And that's kind of hard for me sometimes because then I'm just like, oh, I don't want to talk about the same thing. And, the podcast, a lot of people talk about the same thing, but it's just like how you deliver the message and who my guest is. I have, different people for different things.
Dig that. I can definitely dig that. Speaking of your podcast, I was listening in, I was tuning in. I love it. I dig it. A couple of episodes, I was listening back a couple of episodes ago where, I think you were having a co-host, so I'm not too sure, but you guys were talking about people who come in for job interviews, and how they present themselves and work. And I thought that was so funny because for one reason, I go on a job interview, I dress to the T, I'm trying to be presentable and everything like that, trying to say all the right words. And I fuck around and don't even get it. Then be mad though. But throughout the pandemic and stuff, how's that been going? For you, as far as hiring people and stuff like that, and difficulties with that.
So I'm a supervisor, so I do the hiring, and it's been difficult, I must say. A lot of people still, I feel, are just like they don't want to come back because of the pandemic. A lot of people are still fearful of what's happening. So we haven't been hiring. We have a whole lot of job openings, and I'm sure a whole bunch of people have a whole lot of job openings, but nobody's applying. And the people that we do get applying, they're not really great candidates, unfortunately. But that was kind of like my thing. When you go into interviews, you kind of have to present yourself a certain way because first impressions are always the best impressions, I feel like. When you meet somebody for the first time, they either rub you the wrong way or you like them.
Mm-hmm. You're right about that.
And I just think like appearance is everything.
Yeah. Appearance is. I was really digging that episode. So you're saying you're the hiring manager. Do you also let go people?
I don't like let go. I don't like pulling the trigger on that, but I do if it needs to be recommended, I do the recommendation for that.
Okay, I only asked that question because, obviously, with the pandemic and stuff like that, and you don't have a lot of people who are working and that you have to let go because of budget cuts and stuff like that. How did you, handle that, as far as, letting people go? Who,
so honestly, I had 3 people that they let themselves go.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, they started working and they figured out like, hey, this is not the job for me, and they just left. Like literally just left. No notice, no nothing. They just decided they ain't coming back to work.
That is crazy. Yeah, and a lot of people right now, especially with the unemployment and stuff, a lot of people would rather stay at home and stuff.
Right.
Because people.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Exactly.
You getting paid to stay at home, to relax, to do whatever it is that you do. But I think that whoever is at home doing that right now, this is the perfect time to like live your dreams and do what you really want to do. Because, we work 9 to 5 not because, or at least me, I'm working a 9 to 5. It's not because I want to, it's because I have to. Everybody has bills to pay. I would rather just wake up one day and just be a superstar.
Yeah. A lot of people, lost their jobs and stuff like that. But I was just, I was telling my mom, it's this time right now, even though you might not got a job right now, just, do whatever you love to do, whatever that is, because a lot of people, I say that this pandemic, set a lot of people down to try to, look at themselves in the mirror, see what's surrounding them, see what you're good at. A lot of people got rich over the last year and a half, or not even got rich, but, just, putting things
made some money
and stuff, it's all about it. You got to figure out what's good at it. And then sometimes, going to jobs and going to work, sometimes they'll pay you so much to forget about what you're actually good at. So, so I say this time is, focus on what you're good at. For real.
That's a fact.
Yeah, it is.
That's a fact.
We're going to move on, you guys, here on the 1130 podcast. You guys, man, it's time, you guys, for the 1130. It's time, you guys, for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, WTF
I love
this.
Of the
week. I'm all stumbling because I'm excited. Tanya, like I said, it's time for the WTF moment of the week. Each week, I usually share my WTF moment because there's always something what the fuck going on in the world or that I saw. I allow my guests to go first. So if you have a WTF moment you want to share?
Oh gosh, a WTF moment. What the fuck? I don't think I have one this week. Or let me think about it because you caught me off guard. I forgot that you do this.
Take your time.
I don't know. What did I say? What the fuck? I think that I'm always saying what the fuck because I think this whole mask thing is an issue for me. I personally, and I'm not hating on anybody that doesn't wear their mask, but I wear my mask everywhere I go. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Yeah. But I just feel like a lot of people that don't wear their mask, and I hear myself in my head like, why you don't have your mask on? Mm-hmm. So maybe that's my what the fuck moment because I just be like, why the fuck you don't have your shit on?
Exactly though. Hey, I'm right with you though. I make sure I have my mask on as soon as I'm leaving out the house because you just don't know what people, they want to be all up in your face, want to talk to you, may try to ask us nothing. So like I understand, you don't have it cool that, but why you gotta be all up in my face though? You feel me?
That's a fact.
I was talking to someone on the podcast just about, sympathy with people in a wheelchair and stuff like that. And when people want to sympathize with you and stuff, then they got to always be all up in your grill. Are you okay? I'm like, man, you really got to back up though. Like 6 feet, please. You really do. You really do. Okay. You guys, my WTF moment, you guys, of the week, if you have not seen it already, an alligator, you guys, attacked a lady attacked the lady, you guys. It was a tour going on, and so people was coming through, I guess looking at the alligators. In my personal opinion, alligators ain't nothing to be touring around. You feel me?
We both knew she was in trouble.
A Utah woman in the hospital tonight after an alligator bit her hand and arm, but boy, this could have been worse. She was working as a handler at Scales and Tails in West Valley City.
The terrifying experience, as you just saw, was caught on camera. Fox 13's Haley Higgins joins us live tonight. Haley, how is that handler doing tonight?
Yeah, well, Lindsay Bull is in the hospital tonight. She has severe cuts and broken bones on her arm and on her hand. But she says it could have been a whole lot worse if it wasn't for the quick action from two guests who were there on Saturday.
It definitely was horrific.
At a private birthday party on Saturday, Lindsay Bull feeds an 8.5-foot alligator.
A normal training routine, something that I've done a bunch of different times.
The alligator, named Darth Gator, gets pushy, Lindsay says, coming up to the door and fails to respond to her commands. The handler of nearly 4 years pushes him back with her left hand.
And he grabbed it, and at that point, I kind of, knew that it was serious.
The alligator bites down even harder.
You really have two choices. You either stay out and he's going to rip your arm off, or you go in and there's a chance that you can keep it.
Lindsay crawls inside, wrapping herself around the alligator when it rolls.
When it rolled her, she was just very scared. I've never seen that on a human.
Guest Donnie Weissman instinctively jumps inside to help. The Kaysville man crawls on top, holding down the alligator. He prevents it from rolling a second time.
And the fact that they were willing to jump in there of their own volition was that's courage. That's courage.
Eventually, the alligator lets go, and Lindsay is pulled out, leaving Donnie alone.
I was waiting for him to stop shaking me, and then when I felt comfortable, I was thinking to myself, like, hey, you can't slip. You can't slip. This is his world.
Despite her injuries, Lindsay coaches Donnie to safely get off the alligator. He shows the scrapes from the reptile's back.
I cannot express enough gratitude.
It's still hard to see.
Scales and Tails owner Shane Richens credits Donnie for saving Lindsay and says the story could have easily turned deadly. After Lindsay makes a full recovery, she plans to continue working.
No way, I love Darth Gator. I'll be back there as soon as I can.
Now, Donnie says his only regret is that he wishes he had gone inside the enclosure sooner. And he says that Lindsay is the hero here because she was the one that helped talk him out of the enclosure. Reporting live in West Valley tonight, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Yeah, but
That's
lady, you're right, exactly. A lady, was just showing the kids, I guess, how the alligator is, cool animal, very dangerous at the same time. But the lady got snatched into the water, went down. The alligator was doing the death roll and everything. But luckily, a guy came down and saved her. Got on top of the alligator, and freed her. But she almost lost her arm. Like, WTF though? I don't understand why people. My mom went to Florida a couple of weeks ago. And she took some pictures and stuff like that. And I was like, if you don't get your ass out of that water, because it was an alligator right in the background and everything. I was like,
no.
Like, for real though. Like, we are on land for a reason though. We do not need to be. Oh man, WTF. That was crazy though, really though.
And I don't know why people be testing these animals. I feel like in a lot of places, we're invading their space. Why would you even fuck around with these animals? They will get you, and they will get you good.
Exactly. They sure will. They was here first, though, They was here first, and we basically invaded their space. They probably like,
that's a fact.
You know what? I was here like 15 years ago. This shit was not here. This was not here. See, people? We invading their space, though. And you guys, man, I hope you're liking the show today, and I hope you're vibing with me and Tanya here on this episode of the 1130 podcast. You dig, man? It is Wednesday. Hope everybody Wednesday is going lovely. For real, man. I'm blessed, man. But you guys, man, we gonna pay some bills here on EB Radio, you guys, and on YouTube. For real, we're gonna pay some bills, and we're gonna come right back. So go get some water, go get a snack or whatever. We approaching lunchtime, But for real, you guys, we're gonna pay some bills and we're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back, you guys. You're listening, you're watching to the 1130 podcast. You did?
Know it. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed, we ain't got them problems.
Welcome to EB. Everyone has something to say, a story to tell. We make it easy to share yours. So let's talk.
Regardless of your podcast setup, hit record. And from there, whether your podcast reaches 10 people or 10 million, we can help you get heard wherever listeners are.
And who knows, maybe even quit your day job.
But no matter who hears you, it's about connecting and sharing something from your perspective.
It's about having a voice and using it without anything standing in your way. Say it all with Anchor.
When you grind from the bottom, then it feel more awesome. Awesome. Don't be scared of us. Just approach with caution. 1130 podcast, nigga, is you watching? I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on wheels is
Yo, you guys, welcome back here to the 1130 podcast. Yo, appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the commercial break. Got an awesome show going on here, you guys, here on EB Radio and YouTube. Dope guest, you guys. Tania, she's the host of the Notorious Momz podcast, you guys. Yes, she's joining me here this week, chopping it up, having some fun. Before we get back into the show, I know, Tania, you're going to love this part, you guys. Don't forget to tune back in, you guys, here on EB Radio. Yes, for my guest show tonight, you guys, the Notorious Momz podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. But you guys, yo, we're going to get back into the show. Tanya, what you think about liars?
Liars?
Yeah, liars. I mean, we all know, we got an opinion on liars. We hate liars, so don't lie to me. What you think about liars?
So, one thing about me is that I'm very forgiving. And I think that sometimes people, and this may not be a good excuse, but sometimes people lie for different reasons, right? Sometimes people lie because you have those people out there that are just pathological liars. And that's the whole fact. They just lie because that's just their thing. That's just how they are. But then you have some people that lie because sometimes you may not want to hurt someone's feelings, or you lie because, you're trying to keep yourself out of a, particular predicament. But I don't know. I can't say that I hate liars. I do know that if someone lies to me, it puts my trust level, on a spin a little bit, because then it's like, okay, you lied to me about this. What else did you lie to me about? So then I kind of take a step back and just kind of analyze the situation. But, people lie. It's just, it's the nature of humans. Not everybody is truthful all the time. And if you sit here and say that you're truthful all the time, you a liar.
Damn lie. You're a damn lie. You're a
damn lie.
You're a damn lie.
Because everybody has lied about something one time or another in their life. Yeah. And that's just it.
Yeah.
But I think that people deserve second chances, and people make mistakes.
You're right. I definitely agree with that. People do deserve second chances, though. And like you said, people lie for certain reasons, whether they're trying to hide something, or they don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or, so many reasons, though. What do you think about liars who try to get it, lie to try to get ahead or take advantage of a situation?
See, that I'm on the fence about, because it depends on what kind of situation we're talking about.
Okay.
So let's say, if you want to talk about, so let's bring up like public assistance for an example. There's some people out here that really need public assistance, and when I say public assistance, I'm talking about Section 8, food stamps, welfare. People actually really need it. There's some people that are in unfortunate situations that, they need the help. But then you have other people that take advantage of the system, and they know how to lie to get what they need. See, and that I don't appreciate.
Yeah, I think you read in my mind. I think you really read in my mind. I think you can see through my shades right now. I really do. But I mentioned this, you guys. A Las Vegas mom is being sued by the biological mom, you guys, for claiming her kids as her own. Yes, throughout the eviction, story, things that's going on, in the country and stuff like that. She went to CNN. And
tonight, the White House saying it doesn't have the legal authority to extend the expired federal eviction moratorium on its own, and is now, quote, challenging every landlord to hold off on evictions for the next 30 days. It comes as America is at risk of a full-blown crisis as millions of Americans fear losing their homes, and Congress is pointing fingers over who's to blame. Nick Watt is out front.
This is the letter. Oh, I owe $1,900.
That letter is a 24-hour eviction notice.
And you guys honestly freaked me out when you knocked this morning. I'm not going to lie, because I'm really thinking they're coming at any moment.
To throw Daisha Kelly, who goes by Kelly, and her little girls, Sharon, Kia, and Imani, onto the street. Talking about it doesn't help.
Sorry.
No, Kelly, listen, we're sorry to... Yeah.
You know what's happening, but when you start talking about it, it's different. It's like it's bringing all of my emotions back up.
I'm sorry.
Kelly was a casino dealer here in Las Vegas. Loved it.
I'm automatically, come on, please win. I'm rooting for you. Like, as soon as they bust, I'm upset too. I win.
She lost her jobs, now has no car, and no money for childcare.
It's this tiny virus that has come along and just...
taken everything. I just had to donate a few days ago.
Kelly is now donating blood plasma, $100 a time, to buy groceries.
So you are managing to eat okay?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, they're eating okay. Let's put it that way. I'm like, there's days I don't even want to roll out the bed, roll out the floor. You get what I mean.
Kelly's pawned or sold nearly everything she had.
I had a bed right here. There was a TV right here on top of this stand, so I had to pawn that.
She thought about working online, but...
You lost your laptop as well?
Oh, I had to pawn that trying to keep up with the bills. So...
Okay.
This is the girls' room.
They used to have their bed right here, and they used to have a little chester.
Not anymore.
I'll sacrifice my couch. As you can see, it's a little beat up now, just so they don't have to lay on the floor because they're so tiny. 1, 2.
More than 11 million Americans are reportedly behind on their rent. Congress approved $47 billion to help, but very few of those billions have actually been handed out. Kelly applied, hasn't heard back.
Apparently it's a process, like 2 to 3 months you have to wait or something.
And that federal ban on evictions expired midnight Saturday.
Do they know what's going on?
Not really. That's something I'm afraid of telling them. How do you explain that to your kids? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any words. I think I'll just break down crying and just hug them, I guess, and let them know everything's gonna be all right and we're gonna figure it out, I guess.
And she had the kids with her. Went to CNN, had the kids with her, claimed the kids was hers and stuff like that. And she was getting evicted. She, moped and, made them feel bad, gave her sympathy and stuff like that. And she started a GoFundMe page on CNN. Her goal was, of course, $2,000. And somehow, I guess everybody always oversees the goal, but she raised over $230,000, just basically claiming that these kids was hers. And then the story seems a little bit sketchy because the actual mom came forward and was like, yo, I didn't give this lady permission to claim my kids or, say that these was her kids or whatever. Once they, came back to the lady, she was like, yo, these ain't my kids. This whole story sound fishy, lying so they can get government assistance and more money on top of that. Like, I just feel as though that's exactly what that was, like liars though, like trying to get ahead though. I understand, it's a pandemic right now. I really do. But man, you gotta say these 3 kids yours and they ain't even yours though.
Yeah, and it's just like, how do you, like that kind of thing is like, how do you weed out someone that's telling the truth, that's really going through an eviction, and someone like this person? And I did see that story too, and I was taken aback because it's like, how dare you use these kids for your benefit? Like, now what she should do is take the money and open up a college fund for all 3 of those kids, because you use the kids to get money. What you needed the money for? I mean, obviously, maybe she needed it for something, but now that the money's there, right? Don't give it back. But what you should do is show a good faith and be like, all right, I'm going to take this money and open up college funds for all 3 of these kids.
Yeah, I think that was said that was supposed to be going on from the lawyer, that they was going, open up some trust funds and, all 3 of the kids' names and stuff like
That's
that.
amazing.
And go like that. But man, that's crazy right there though. Lying and saying, yo, these kids yours though. I don't claim my kids though, especially if I don't know you. Like that's a real crazy. That's a crazy story right there.
But then it's like you said, it sounds a little sketchy because how did the mother? So how did this lady get so close to these children if you didn't really know? Like, how are you letting somebody you don't know get close to your kids like that? That's a fail.
Yeah, that sounded like a scam to me too. For real though, especially when she said, yeah, I didn't give this lady permission though. And I'm thinking, you know, of course, you know, like I said, it's crazy times, and they probably was just trying to scam up on some money though. They didn't, you know, think about the long term, right? Who knows though? But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Speaking of crazy though, Tanya, have you heard about what's going on right now with OnlyFans banning nudity now going on in October?
Yes, I have heard about that, and that has actually been the talk all over Instagram and all over social media, that they're, you know, because people honestly have been making a lot of money on these OnlyFans because of the pornography aspect of it. So now what is it? I feel like it's equivalent to, I don't know if you remember, like way back in the days, people used to go to like the little peep shows, and they used to pay their little quarter, and they used to get a little peep show and keep it moving, right? So OnlyFans is just like a, you know, an updated version of that, in my opinion. But now what they're gonna do to get money if you can't show your privates?
Yeah, I think that's crazy though, for real though. Especially, you know, like I ain't in a position to tell nobody what they can or can't do. You know, I know they, you know.
That's correct.
I've been on the site. Yeah, they make buku money. I don't know if OnlyFans get mad because all of them making money. It was a girl who came in. I don't even remember her name though, but I just saw the story, and she came in like April and made over like $1 million, you know, in like a couple hours. So it's
Yep,
like,
I heard about a registered nurse. I read about a registered nurse that she did an OnlyFans. She was a beautiful woman, and I think in a month she made over $200K, much more than she was making by being a nurse. This is what people want to see now.
Yeah, exactly though. And the porn, and then like, you know, the porn industry companies, you know, it's not really, you know, really worth it, you know, and stuff like that, because, you know, you're seeing a lot of, you know, transmitted diseases and stuff like that from, you know, the young ladies who work in the business, stuff like that, and the men too, or whatever. So, you know, for them to, you know, do their thing on their own, that's what they want to do. But I find that to be so crazy though, because really, like, I don't know about anybody else though. I mean, watching porn get a little bit boring sometimes. You might want to be watching some exclusive stuff. So I don't know.
Right. And that's why you go to OnlyFans, because you want to see some new shit. You know, sometimes porn is just the same old shit, so you got to go see something else. I mean, that's your choice. But I feel bad. A lot of people gonna be losing money.
Yeah, it's the talk of the town, because it's what it is though. Like, especially throughout the pandemic, that was like one of the main things that like really went up, because a lot of people ain't got jobs, so like they're at home, like having fun. We're gonna move on, you guys, here on the podcast with everything going on in the world. What's your thoughts on society today with COVID and the pandemic and all the restrictions and stuff like that?
I don't know. Everything is just like up in the air. I don't remember. I can't remember anything to be like this. I know that things have happened like in other countries and other places like this, but I don't remember ever this happening. At first, when the pandemic started, it was scary. But I believe in faith. I'm a very, you know, I have a lot of faith, and I also believe in God. I'm not a religious Bible thumper, you know, nothing against them, but I do believe in spirituality, and I feel like, you know, sometimes you just gotta have faith, and you know, whoever it is that you pray to or have faith in, they're gonna guide you, and they're gonna keep you safe. As far as society goes, I feel like it's just so much going on. You can't even get a grasp on it. Like, I don't know if you guys heard, I'm sure you heard about what happened over here with our New York Governor Cuomo. That was like a big hit. It was a whole sex scandal. And it was just like, for me, you know, during the pandemic, I felt like he was like our local president, you know, because of the way that he handled the pandemic. I felt like he handled it very well. You know, he was like our guy, you know, because Trump was in office back then. But I think it's just all fucked up. You know, everybody has all their wires crossed, and, you know, people are just putting all their eggs in one basket with certain things. And, you know, this internet and all this media and the news, and, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Facts on that one, though. Facts on that. And like you said in the beginning, you gotta have faith. I'm a big faith. Not a, you know, Bible, you know, reading the Bible front, back, all that stuff like that. You gotta have faith. I'm a big faith guy. I kind of like, I always had my faith, but of course down, in life, it's ups and it's downs and stuff like that. And,
right.
You wonder why, or you feel like, you just trying to figure things out and it's not, going your way. So it's like faith is the number one thing that I tell myself and, people that I surround is just have faith. But a lot of people, don't have faith or don't hold on to faith because, certain things have happened to their life or they lost a family member or they, so many things, So that's why I tell everybody, man, just hold on to faith because faith and believe for real. Because if you believe it, it's possible because ain't nobody else. If ain't nobody else believing that, the Notorious Momz podcast is going to blow, long as you believe it, that's the only thing that matters.
I sure do. Can I tell you, I wake up every day and I say that. I say, you know what? I'm about to go on here and make a video or do this. You know what? It's mine. This is my baby.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to speak this shit into existence.
Exactly. That's what you got to do. You got to speak it into existence. You got to manifest it,
There you go. Manifestation. That's the new thing these days too.
Yeah. What inspires you?
Oh God, so many things. But mostly like my children are my biggest inspiration. I have a 16-year-old that's going to be going to college soon. He's going into his senior year of high school. And I have an almost 2-year-old. So my kids, they make me crazy as hell because they drive me crazy in different things. I'm on 2 different levels of parenting right now. I'm in the teenage stage and the toddler stage, and they're both not very easy. And I'm doing it all at once, but they inspire me. They motivate me, my kids, and my family overall. I look at them and I just want to be great for them, and I always say, I want to leave a legacy for them. I want to leave something where they can say, my mom was this type of person and she was, great, generational wealth and all that good stuff. So that is like my number one inspiration of why like I'm doing this and want this to just be great.
Okay, that's what's up. As far as, having kids, everybody always say, that's the, inspiration and stuff like that. I don't have kids one day, hopefully so, but as parents, I understand, that, none of us, none of our, are perfect and stuff like that. So, we we live a day, one day at a time. So that's what's up. I dig that. I really dig that. We're having fun here, you guys, here on the 1130 podcast. You dig, you guys? But it's time, you guys, for the 1130 podcast hot seat. Tanya, I got 6 questions for you. I'm gonna ask you what we're gonna roll with. Cool.
Oh Lord, you're putting me in the hot seat. Ah shit, go ahead.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What is something that everyone looks stupid doing?
Everyone looks stupid doing one thing that everyone looks stupid doing. Shit. I don't have a question. I don't have an answer for that. Can I skip that one?
Okay,
I'm gonna come back to that one.
We can come back. Okay. What set of items could you buy that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable?
A pregnancy test. If you have a yeast infection, one of those monostats. Maybe a plan B.
Okay.
Condoms.
Definitely.
And lubrication.
Definitely condoms, though, for real. Like, I bought some condoms one day. I bought condoms one day, and I don't know if that's the rule. You don't eye contact with the cashier or something. But I just looked up. You know what I mean? I was ready to hand her the money or I think my card, and she said, "What?" I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I knew nobody wasn't behind me though, so I just knew I did something wrong. I knew I did though. Okay, if you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you have done?
I got into a fight.
You got into a fight?
Yeah, that's what they would assume. They would assume that I fucked somebody up on the way because sometimes, some people could take me there.
Okay.
But definitely for fighting.
Okay. Don't let nobody try you. Don't let nobody try you, bro. People always trying to do that these days, man. For real, for real. Have you ever been rejected by someone you liked?
Yes, and I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
And it really sucked.
Yeah, I remember them times, especially in like junior high school. Like, nice little crush on somebody. They just break their heart.
Yep.
What is your biggest regret in life?
Oh, my biggest regret in life. My biggest regret was not going to the police academy because that was something that I really wanted to do. And when I got out of high school, I always wanted to become a cop and later on a detective. My degree is in forensic science and criminal justice. So that is something that I've always wanted to do. But because my father was so against it, and I'm so close with my dad, I'm a daddy's girl all the way. Shout out to all the daddy's girls. But because of him, that's one of my biggest regrets, not being a police officer.
Oh, okay. That's really cool. So you wanted to be a police officer?
I did. That was like my main goal. I went to John Jay College. I did my first year there. And then, we had a conversation and he was just like, no, that's not something I want for you.
Oh, okay. What kind of made you wanted to be a police officer?
I just always felt like I had that character. Like I always want to be in charge. I always want to be the boss. Okay. That's just my personality. And I'm not like a bitch about it, but I feel that way. I always have to be in charge. I always have to have the last word. I always have to have the final say.
Hey, that's what's up. I dig that. I really, really do. I really do. Okay. What's something horrible that we as humans have accepted because that's just how things are, but actually things don't have to be that way at all?
What have we accepted? I just think everything in general. It's certain things that if you look at like back in the days, so let me just talk about one particular thing, relationships and how men and women are treated and like gender roles. All of that has like changed when it used to not be. But I think that if people just had a little bit more clear cut lines about what they wanted and just being a little bit more transparent, things don't have to be that hard. Everybody has a different circumstance, but people make relationships harder than they have to be.
Yeah, you're right. That is, though. A lot of people don't, open up their mouth and communicate and,
right.
relationships, 30 years and you just with her just to be with her, though. Like, you're happy, though. You love going to work to go see Sarah, though, but you just.
But you're home with Molly.
Crazy. Something that everyone looks stupid doing. I'm just gonna say, man, just not just being. I know it's probably like a whack answer in a way, but just doing what everybody else doing. Instead of just being yourself.
That's a good one.
A lot of people don't be themselves. Just be authentic and just be real. A lot of people are, just about damn near doing the same thing. So like. I say just be yourself. For real, just be yourself. A lot of people struggle sometimes with being themselves. I understand, everybody didn't have the greatest childhood, so hey, once you find yourself, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Hey, yo, Tania, I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast. Before you go, your awesome podcast, Notorious Momz, each and every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell my listeners and viewers about it. And of course, like I said, when they can catch it, tell them about it so they can, make sure they be there tonight at 7 p.m. for the Notorious Momz podcast.
Yeah, so it's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on EB Radio. I'm on Instagram, Notorious Momz the podcast. I have my YouTube, Notorious Momz the podcast, and I also have my website. My website is up, notoriousmomthepodcast.com. So check me out. I'm trying to really be consistent in making content. New things to come, but check it out. Come through, drop a line, share, comment, subscribe. Check me out.
That's what's up. Have you and Mama Life got together for an episode yet?
Actually, Mama Life, yes, we did last night, and it was so dope.
That's what's up.
Yes, I had a busy weekend this weekend. Shout out to Mama Life +3 on IG.
Yes. Busy weekend was indeed, yes. That's what's up, because I had Mama Life on the podcast last year with my sister, and I was like, I'm not a dad, I'm like, I don't know, so I brought my sister on, so I thought it was real dope, and of course she got a podcast talking about, being a mom, stuff like that, and you with the Notorious Momz podcast, I was like, yo, they two be dope, so that's real cool. That's real cool.
Thank you so much for the link up.
No problem. Anytime. Like I said, I try to, connect with as many people that I, can and, work with and connect with and just, vibe with. So that's really, really awesome. Before you go, any shout outs, any questions, anything you'd like to say?
Shout out to everybody that's just doing this. And sometimes it might get hard. You might feel like you're tired. You might feel defeated, but just keep going. Just keep going. Anybody that's in the podcast world, content creators, just keep going, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I said it last week. It's all about the process. When I started out, of course, trying to find data on my phone, running out of data, the phone stopping, and, just everything. You get a guest and they may no show, whatever the case may be, it's all about the process. So when you look back a year or two and you be like, damn, you know what? I came a long way. So that's what it's all about.
That's a fact.
Any final words you would like to say, Tanya, before we head on out of here?
That's it. I just want to say thank you so much for having me. This was definitely a vibe. I hope we could do it again. And shout out to you, because you always shout me out, and I say support is free. So shout out to the 1130 podcast and to you for having me on the show.
Appreciate it. All the time. I got to support my peoples here on EB Radio and just everywhere, for real. The Notorious Momz podcast, you guys, tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. Tanya, I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 11
Thank you.
Podcast.
Take care.
Yo, Tanya, I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast. It was an awesome time having you on, fun. Just chopping it up here on the podcast. I want to send a shout out to my guy, Bar, the executive, Mr. EB Radio. Yes, man, for keep connecting me and, other people, man, with some, dope, like-minded people. And, this episode here, man, so it was awesome, you guys. Man, for real, you guys go follow the Notorious Momz podcast on all social media platforms and check her out, you guys. All new episodes of the Notorious Momz podcast Wednesdays tonight, you guys, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on EB Radio, you guys. Yes, it's gonna be dope, man. For real, it's an awesome time. Really, really awesome time. Like she was saying, man, you gotta have faith in yourself, man. You gotta have faith in yourself and believe. And once you believe, man, hey, ain't nothing gonna stop you. Ain't nothing gonna stop you. I talked about it last week here on the podcast. How certain days just, you might be like, man, you know what? I don't even know. Or you just be like, man, you want to get in that lab, you want to get in the studio, or go record your podcast and be like, yo, this the one. But sometimes just be like, I don't know, or whatever. Like, it's just certain days, but long as you stick with it and keep sticking with it, man, because some days it get blurry. You feel me? Especially when if podcasting the only thing you're doing, or whatever it is that you just doing in the world that you ain't really making no money at it, and you just sticking with it. I'm telling you, stick with it. It's all about the process, and it's gonna be something. Trust me. I always tell myself, I'm gonna have this nice big old house. Yes, because I believe that the 1130 podcast is gonna get there. It's gonna get to the top. It's gonna blow. You feel me? We're gonna be right there with the Notorious Momz podcast. You feel me? So you guys, man, believe in yourself, man. Have faith, manifest it, man. Of course, yeah, I know that seems like a cliche nowadays. Everybody's saying manifest this, manifest that, or whatever like that. For real, for real, man. For real. Yo, it's been a dope one. This has been really a dope one. You guys, I just want to remind everybody that, yes, we are approaching the 100th episode of the 1130 podcast. Yes, you guys, this is the last episode of August. Man, this year has flew by, man. I tell you, this year has flew by. It was just like February. I just came here to EP Radio, man. And it's September, last week of October, but it's damn near September already, man, for real. But you guys, man, we are approaching the 1130 podcast. Yes, October 27th. It's going to be lit. It's going to be lit. So make sure you tune in to hear on EB Radio, streaming on EB Radio here on YouTube at 11:30 a.m. It's going to be a vibe. It's going to be dope. So I can't wait. I'm excited. I thank you guys for tuning in to the 1130 podcast each and every week on YouTube or you know, straight here on EB Radio, man. If you join me on EB Radio, I appreciate it a lot. For real. I appreciate it. You guys helped me get over to 12,000 views on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. And also, man, I thank everybody who tuned in. Shout out to my guy, Warren Marlowe, for the Buzzing with Marlowe podcast. Appreciate you joining me. And also shout out to my guy, Shiz Lansky from Off the Top Rows podcast, who was joining me this Saturday live on Facebook and YouTube to run down some SummerSlam predictions and review, you guys. It was awesome. Like Tania said, man, it's been a hell of a weekend. Man, the weekend has been long, for real. The weekend has been long, but yo, like I said, it was awesome, you guys. SummerSlam was lit this past Saturday. It was dope, man. For what it was worth, it was dope. It was in Allegiant Stadium. The Las Vegas Raiders new stadium. I gotta get used to the Las Vegas Raiders now. They was the Oakland Raiders for so many years though. But yeah, you know, it was pretty cool. Nice sight to see and stuff like that. But Seth and Edge, of course, stole the show, you guys, and the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and John Cena did their thing. Brock Lesnar is back. Oh man, SummerSlam was cool. But Friday night, you guys, last week, man, oh man, I will be joining you guys. Well, I hope you guys will be joining me. I hope you guys will be joining me this Friday, you guys, for the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Yes, man, we're gonna get in it some more. CM Punk, you guys, has returned to pro wrestling, and man, oh man, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was a sight to see. Friday night was special. For real, man. Really was special, you guys. Man, awesome show, you guys. Tanya, you know you're welcome anytime here on the 1130 podcast. You did. You're welcome anytime. But yo, everybody, man, before I head on out of here, you know what time it is, man. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow the 1130 podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the 1130 podcast. Yes, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the 1130 podcast. Tap in so you know you can stay up to date and everything, for real. And also, you guys, the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, each and every Friday, where I interview some of your favorite independent referees, ring announcers, wrestlers, podcast personalities, all wrestling, you guys. Like I said, we're gonna be chatting it up about CM Punk. I got an awesome contest that I will be giving away a book, you guys. The Wrestlers, the Craft of Professional Wrestling. If you want to check out who's your favorite wrestlers, join me each and every Friday, you guys, and you might get a cool copy of the book. So join in the contest. It's gonna be fun. For real. If you would like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the 1130podcast at gmail.com, or just DM me on social media so we can work. For real. I'm always down to work. Man, it's been an exciting show. It's been a really exciting show. Also, you guys, man, I want to shout out Jimmy once again, man, from the Sexy Cool Lounge podcast. Yes, man, I'm going to be an upcoming guest on his podcast, you guys. So stay tuned and go subscribe and follow the Sexy Cool Lounge podcast. Also, you guys, shout out to my girl Helen, you guys. Yes, the Honestly Helen podcast, where I will be on a dope edition, you guys, of the Honestly Helen podcast. So stay tuned and tap into her. And yes, you guys, one more time, give it up for EB Radio, you guys, for my guys over at Ride the Wave, the Honestly Helen podcast, the Notorious Momz podcast, and all the dope DJs. Let's keep killing it each and every week. Give all the glory to God. Hey, stay safe out there, man. For real, stay safe, stay blessed. And yo, keep killing it. Keep going at it. Yo, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels. And I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the new one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? I'm from the city, DC. Breeze, baby. He the one with me. So yeah. Breeze, baby. Let's get it. You with me. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options.